Welcome back to the Flying Cow Podcast, where we explore the people, programs, and stories that shape our village. I'm Village Manager Jim Barnes, and today we begin a two-part series celebrating a very special milestone, Wellington's 30th anniversary of incorporation. On December 31st, 1995, Wellington officially became an incorporated municipality. In the 3 decades since, we've grown from a developing community on the edge of the Everglades into one of South Florida's most beloved hometowns. We're known for our excellent parks, safe and welcoming neighborhoods, top-rated schools, and a strong sense of community. Today, we'll be talking about the first major celebration kicking off this milestone year, Wellington's 30th anniversary celebration, which is scheduled for January 2nd, 2026, right here in Wellington's Town Center. Joining me today are two familiar staff members behind many of the events and programs that bring our community together. Jennifer Brito, Community Services Director, and Ian Williams, Community Services Manager. Jennifer and Ian, welcome back to the show.
Thank you,
so
Jen.
much for having us.
That's great, and really appreciate you guys coming back. And I think we've got some great information to chat about today and hopefully share with all the listeners. So basically, just to give a little background and for some context of why we're here today and what we're going to talk about is really the start of Wellington and how we came about as a community. Wellington's been around well before incorporation, and it's actually even before communities started popping up throughout the village and the area before incorporation. We really were mostly agricultural, farmland, and in some cases, a little known fact that Wellington was probably one of the world's largest strawberry patches. This entire area was once occupied by strawberry fields. And ultimately, those fields transitioned to master planned communities and neighborhoods. And finally, in 1995, on December 31st, we incorporated. Official operations for the village actually started in March 28th of 1996 when our first village council was in office and held their first council meeting. Generally speaking, over the years, it's really great parks, great schools, great neighborhoods are the type of amenities that our residents initially flocked to Wellington for and eventually continued to grow. And those key points, great parks, great schools, great communities, great neighborhoods, really continued to flourish and bring more people to the village. Over that time, we've continued to maintain that flavor of a hometown. And even though we're only 30 years young in terms of our municipal incorporation, we definitely have a couple of generations already that have been born and raised here in Wellington, and in many cases come back to call Wellington home. So Jennifer, from your perspective, working with the families and our community partners every day, what makes Wellington feel like a hometown that people just naturally connect to?
You know, Jim, that's a really great question. From my perspective, what really makes Wellington feel like a true hometown is a sense of connection you feel everywhere you go. Families know each other, our community partners are deeply invested in what happens here. And there's this shared pride in creating a place where people feel welcomed and supported. It's in the way our parks are full of families spending time together, how our events bring multiple generations out to enjoy the same space, and how our local businesses genuinely care about giving back. People don't just live here, they participate, they volunteer, and they show up for one another. Wellington has this balance of being a growing, vibrant community while still holding on to that small town warmth. And I think that's what really makes it feel like home. You can build roots here, and you're surrounded by people who want to build them with you. And that's really special.
It clearly is, evidenced by the fact that our communities have grown over time and over the 3 decades that we've been incorporated, and I think a lot of those roots were in the ground well before incorporation, and we've just continued to enhance that and even build upon that. Going back to the focus of the podcast today, which is really our great and grand anniversary celebration for our 30 years of incorporation. That'll take place on Friday, January 2nd, 2026, right here in our town center, which is essentially evolved into really the third place, the center of town that we have here in Wellington. It's going to be an incredible event with some great music, entertainment, family activities, and really just an overwhelming sense of community pride Jen, what can the visitors, residents, and attendees expect and look forward to when they arrive here at Town Center that evening?
Well, Jim, we're so thrilled to host this event to celebrate our 30th anniversary with a spectacular event featuring some of the incredible tribute bands that light up our weekly food trucks, concerts, and Lakeside Market every week. Enjoy live performances by 56/8, Never Stop Believin', and a Turnstiles tribute. The celebration continues throughout Town Center with a Ferris wheel, carnival rides, and free admission for everyone. Guests can also enjoy our special ice skating rink, accommodating up to 50 skaters at a time. As you stroll through the event to find your favorite Lakeside Market vendors, along with a delicious variety of food vendors offering something for every single taste. And of course, we'll top off the evening with a dazzling firework finale. We hope you join us on January 2nd, 2026 from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Wellington Amphitheater for an unforgettable anniversary celebration. And Jim, what better way to bring in the 30 years than to bring in a new event for the Village of Wellington, which will be the Wellington Irish Fest, which will be on March 7th, 2026. We're very excited to celebrate the 30 years of Wellington.
That Irish Fest may take its own podcast in the next month or so, just so we can provide more details on that. That's a great new event. And again, testimony that not only do we maintain great events year to year, you and your team continue to with the Parks and Rec team, also come up with new activities, events, programs, just to keep everything fresh and continue to provide as many opportunities for our Wellington residents to gather locally right here in their hometown. Ian, let's talk a little bit about the partnerships and sponsorships that we're looking at as far as this event is concerned, and of course a lot of the other things we do. And those are really important things that are key components of events like this and how they are made possible. Can you let us know a little bit more about those sponsorships and how they're involved in this program?
Yeah, of course, Jim, and I couldn't have said it better. Our community partners, they play such a huge role in bringing events like this to life. Their support goes far beyond just funding. It's special how involved our community partners are in shaping the experience for our residents. You see, many of our sponsors, they contribute by providing resources, helping activate different areas of the event, and even bringing in added elements that make the celebration feel bigger and more engaging. But see, what's really great about our partnerships is that they allow us to keep many of the activities for free and accessible to the community, whether it's just supporting the entertainment or helping create interactive spaces or enhancing the overall atmosphere. Our sponsors, they play such a pivotal part of why we can continue to hold events of this scale. But you see, a prime example is our Taste of Wellington event. You know, this event was an economic development by showcasing and promoting our local restaurants, and it brought the flavors of Wellington together in one place, giving our residents the opportunity to experience the best of what we as a community have to offer from a culinary scale. But what we're truly grateful for is our sponsors for the 30-year anniversary. So I'd like to give a shout out to Wharton Smith, Inc., FPL, Wellington Regional Medical Center, Wellington International, Wellington Bay, Guardians Credit Union, Professional Firefighters of Palm Beach County, FCC Environmental Services, Joe DiMaggio Children's Health, Cooper's Hawk Winery and Service and Restaurants, and Wellington Lifestyle Partners. And if anyone out there is listening and they're interested in becoming a sponsor for our upcoming event, please visit www.wellingtonfl.gov/celebrate30 for more sponsorship details.
That's a lot of sponsors, and really kind of testament to how much our community, on the community partner side, local businesses, and other interested parties and groups get involved in making really these events possible, and also contributing to just anything we can do to try and make the experience here in Wellington better for our residents and guests. You know, as I mentioned earlier, we've got a lot of things planned this coming anniversary year. And this anniversary celebration is really that main first weekend of 2026. It's just one of two major events we're actually planning, and that'll kick off our 30th year. In our coming podcast episode, we'll also be diving in, no pun intended, into the grand opening of the new Wellington Aquatic Center. And that'll be happening on January 3rd with a ribbon cutting at 8 a.m. Again, more details on that at a subsequent episode. And we'll talk about more details and all the great things that'll happen at that event. Going back to our 30th anniversary celebration on the 2nd, Tell me about the fireworks show, because that's something that normally we just really see associated with July 4th and Independence Day. But to celebrate this great milestone, we're having some fireworks as well. Ian, tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, 100%. So to conclude the event, what we're going to do is a nice fireworks show off of Lake Wellington. And so that'll be happening from 9:55 until 10 p.m. So what we do want to do is make everyone aware so you could take the proper precautions as needed, especially considering we are an equestrian community. We're getting the word out there far in advance so everyone can do what they need to do and to ensure that they can enjoy the fireworks, but also to keep everyone and their animals safe.
That's great. And like I said, I'm sure given the location and given the type of event it is, it's not going to be the typical fireworks display that you experience on Independence Day on July 4th, but it'll be a lower level fireworks display having on Lake Wellington and visible certainly from the town center where the major event will be that evening. It's interesting throwback into a little bit of history is I think if you go back in history long enough in the local area here, one of the locations where fireworks were deployed for our events like July 4th was Lake Wellington. That, of course, predated a lot of the development along Big Blue Trace and related adjacent communities there. However, like I said, this is a little bit different fireworks show, low level, and certainly safety precautions will be taken. And Ian, like you mentioned, I think it's important just to get the word out there in the event for people to take any appropriate precautions, whether it's for their pets, animals, or even small children that may be just a little bit startled by the fireworks. However, we do plan on having a safe display and one that will ring in our new year for the incorporation of the village and our 30-year anniversary.
Yeah, Jim.
Great plan.
Of course. And just to add to that, as a means of preparing for the 30th year anniversary, if you wish to attend, we would like to let everyone know the lake and the boat docks for the WCC will be closed that evening as well for the 30-year anniversary.
That's an important point. The boardwalk and the associated docks and platforms at the boardwalk there on Lake Wellington are a popular spot during many of our events, and it's important that we note that since they won't be available, again, as an extra safety precaution since we're going to be launching the fireworks from Lake Wellington. Thank you for bringing that up. That's an important point. Well, I think we've covered just about all the details we're willing to share right now. Certainly, some of the details we'll want to keep us a surprise, just so there'll be some great events happening here that entire evening, whether it's for children, shoppers, and anybody else, and ultimately really just a great community celebration, bringing the community together to celebrate what is going to be a very milestone year as our 30th anniversary of incorporation, celebrating ultimately what brings us all together, which is the village of Wellington and our continued belief that we are a great hometown. Jen and Ian, thank you again for joining us. Thanks for your team and the rest of the village team that's putting together what promises to be a great community celebration. It is always a team effort, as you guys identified earlier. We've got community partners, we've got business community members, and we have resident volunteers that work together with you, your team, and the rest of the village team members, and makes these events and the future events great. And we do want to thank you again and your staff for everything you guys do daily to make the difference in what we experience as a great quality of life here in the village. Thank you again for being part of today's podcast and conversation.
Thank you for having us, Jim. First and foremost, we want to thank our leadership for supporting our various events we host within the community on a yearly basis. We would also like to recognize all the community partners and sponsors to help bring these wonderful events to life. It's very important that we have these relationships within our community.
Yeah, and just to echo off Jennifer's point, it's truly an honor, as she said, to be here today, and I look forward to seeing everyone at the 30-year anniversary celebration at the amphitheater, and thank you to our residents for making the village of Wellington a great hometown.
This year marks a moment of reflection, pride, and celebration in Wellington. For 30 years, we have built a hometown grounded in connection, community spirit, and the belief that we are stronger when we come together. We invite every resident, whether you've lived here for 3 months or 30 years, to join us in celebrating. Learn more about all upcoming 30th anniversary events by visiting wellingtonfl.gov, and follow the Village of Wellington and Wellington Parks and Recreation and Community Services on Facebook and Instagram. And don't miss the next episode where we dive into the grand opening of our brand new Wellington Aquatic Center. As always, Be sure to subscribe and turn on alerts so you never miss an episode of our podcast. Until next time, I'm Jim Barnes. Thank you for tuning in to the Flying Cow Podcast, where community takes flight.